Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Trainz, Railroad Simulator, Trainz with a Z. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Russian Decapods from K&L Trainz. Now these are two separate packs, but given the size of the Frisco pack, I went ahead and included the Western Maryland models because they fit right here. I'm not going to lie, that is 80% of the reason. The other part of the reason is I don't want to go out of my way to buy the Erie pack as well. Truth be told, I'm not a big Erie guy, and there's really not a lot of Erie stuff to go with it, so yeah. But there's a third pack, spoiler alert. There's a Frisco pack, there's the Western Maryland pack, and then the third pack not represented here is the Erie pack. Bam! There's the website for K&L with the Erie pack. You'll notice it is still a Russian Decapod with a different headlight placement. Anywho, these locomotives were built originally in the 19-teens for Russia. If I remember right, they were part of a... They were supposed to help bolster Russia's railroads during World War I, and things fell through, and the locomotives never left the United States, and thus we had a buttload of these locomotives sitting around. So they got distributed out to a handful of different railroads who actually found them quite enjoyable. So they have they're pretty stout little locomotives for what they are. They're not really that big, which is a bit deceptive. With 10 drive wheels, one would think they're much larger. Typically, anything with 10 drive wheels in the United States is a big locomotive, whereas these things are really not big. They're actually quite small. But a lot of railroads actually ended up liking them, especially the Frisco. Frisco was one of the larger purchasers or users of the Frisco. Frisco was indeed a user of their locomotives, but Frisco was one of the larger users and of the Russian Decapods, and probably liked them most. And they're the most numerous preserved of the Russian Decapods. But they were fairly well liked by the railroads that ended up with them. I forget if Western Maryland really cared for them. I don't think they were really their cup of tea. I think they were fairly short-lived with Western Maryland, if I remember right. It was either Western Maryland or Erie that they were fairly short-lived, but yeah. So you'll notice this really distinctive tall boiler that is ever so present on these locomotives. It's very it's a very noticeable feature on the Russian locomotives. If I remember correctly, this is to help keep snow from building up in areas that the Russians didn't want it. Could be wrong about that. Not dead certain on the full point to the boiler being so high up over the frame, but it certainly gives them a very distinctive look. Now, personally, I absolutely love the Frisco look. They really dress these locomotives up nice. With a hooded headlight, their ever famous herald, and the doghouse on the tender. And the Frisco models are probably the more well-known of the lot, as a few of these are preserved today, with one being operational at the Illinois Railroad Museum, being Frisco number 1630. To my knowledge, none of the Western Maryland models exist today, but you'll notice the tender is a different design. The headlight and bell placement is different. But other than that, it's still a Russian Decapod. on the pilot changes on the later model. The placement of the pumps for the Frisco model is different. And of course with the Erie pack, there are subtle changes like that as well on the Erie locomotives. But at the end of the day, they are still Frisco locomotives. Now with the Western Maryland pack, you are going to get 3 different paint schemes for the locomotive, with a couple subtle changes between the paint schemes, such as the pilot here on the 3rd model. Oh goodness! But other than that, they remain relatively the same. The Frisco pack, you will only get 1 locomotive. The Frisco locomotives remain pretty well unchanged throughout their service life, but you will get a short consist to go with it. That is pretty popular consist on or at the Illinois Railway Museum whenever they operate the 1630. This is the train set that often goes with it. So the milk boxcar here is set up to be a water car in game. I don't know if it actually does that in real life, but it is kind of a cool thing to go with it. It's kind of something unique, a very unique car. Now these are all fairly old by K&L standards. They're very, very dated compared to his newer stuff, but they're still not bad. So let's go ahead and blow off her bell. Motion is nice, the bell sound is nice, and it's in sync with the bell, which I really like. Nothing really to play with, just automatic fireman. Of course, headlight. The ever notable pop on K&L's whistles, but the whistle sound is quite nice. Has a very noticeable echo in the background, but I don't hate it. Placeholder cab, again typical of K&L stuff from this era. The cylinder steam is not that bad. The smoke, it looks like cotton balls. Yep. Overall, the chuff sounds are not bad for Trainz. Nothing fancy. The blending could definitely use some work. But the sounds themselves are really not that bad. Oh, I forgot I put a whistle marker back there. Oh well. Yeah, the Frisco model. Overall, I really like the detail on it. The detail is very nice. The texturing is eh. Not the worst, not the best. It's just kind of meh. K&L's definitely done better in recent years, without a doubt. But it still looks pretty good for its age. So let's hop back here to the Western Maryland. The bell doesn't swing. Instead, the little dinger inside is what moves. And it's in sync, which I like. The bell sound is really good. I forget that these have such an entertaining whistle. The whistle sound is not half bad. And these are older models. Physics are not really real. Chef sounds are exactly the same, which they should be. They're not going to be wildly different locomotives. Matter of fact, as far as sound go, I think that's really the only difference is the bell and the whistle. Pretty sure all of the Western Maryland models use the exact same sounds. Yep. So, anyway, there they are, guys. The Russian Decapods from K&L Trainz, available on K&L's website. Do go check them out. I absolutely love these just because I really like I like the fact that they're 10 coupled drivers on a relatively small package. I mean, these are, again, they're not big locomotives by any means. And yet with 10 drivers, it gives the illusion that they should be big. So yeah, I really have a lot of fun with these locomotives. Even though they are definitely dated, they're definitely old by today's standards, they're still a lot of fun. They operate nicely, they look good, they sound good. Overall, you know, if you find a good set of Chuss sounds on the download station or somewhere else, and plug them in, these models are really quite nice still. So definitely go check them out. Link in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you next time.